See how I'm not coming all the way out to the side of the circle? I don't know if you can see that. I'll zoom in and show you. I've got some of the green showing still. However, I'm going to push on. I guess I can always go back and do that on top after. Although you're probably not meant to do that, but you know, let's just break the rules. Maybe if I do it like this, oh, that's probably a better idea, to have it up and come through like that. Okay, I think that worked better, that I could actually see where I was going. Because the needle seems to want to slip into the hole, the previous hole. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, oh no, hang on, see, I'm trying to turn it over, but that doesn't work because I need to see where the green is, the little pale green, or grey actually. You could choose white roads or grey roads, and I chose grey. I thought that there was a grey background with white roads, but I wanted to choose the creamy coloured background, and therefore the grey roads is what I chose. Now it's cost, for those who want something like this, who live in Australia, the company, I can't remember it, but I'll put the link below, and the thing is called Map My Lap, which is obvious, so you're mapping your lap, so it's very good. And it was $70, which is, I guess, quite a lot for a metre of fabric. Not even the width of a normal piece of fabric. However, you want these things, you've got to pay, haven't you? And you could get a tea towel. I've seen people do similar on a tea towel of Australia. However, with the tea towel, you only get a tea towel size, and therefore I think you'd have a lot of lines, wouldn't you? A lot of lines going somewhere. So that's why I chose to spend the money. It took me a while. I did look at it a few months ago and think, oh, I don't know if I want to pay that much. But at the end of the day, you know, it's the only one I could find, and it's a captured market. So I thought, why not? I guess if you put it against the cost of our caravan, it's not even a small drop off the price of the caravan. So why not? So there's Brisbane. Now I wanted to go up to Hervey Bay, so up here, because I'll show you what I do when I get to the other one. Now, what sort of stitch am I going to do here? It was suggested to me that I do a chain stitch. Is that right? Chain stitch. But I don't want to do a chain stitch because I think that when I get to these roads, particularly in tiny states, it's going to be quite hard to do the chain stitch, which is going to be quite wide. And I wanted to do the consistent same stitch across the whole piece. That was the plan anyway. I'm having trouble threading that again. I took that out because I put it in at the wrong place. Okay, try again. I think I'll cut a little bit off. That always helps. The other thing is I was going to do all of the things that we did in our motorhome in one colour, and I was thinking if I did all those in red and then I did the other one in, you know, the caravan trips in a different colour, that might be a good idea. However, when I thought about it, I thought, well, the motorhome was white with red decals, and the caravan is grey with red trim and decals. So they're both red. So then I thought, well, that would be a bit silly to do it like that, wouldn't it? So therefore I decided that I wouldn't do it like that, that I would just do random colours with whatever I have. Now, gosh, that's hard for me to see. Going back in the same hole, I'm trying to do what I think. Now I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that is called a satin stitch, I think. Dragging up the memory from school 50 odd years ago, 50 years last year since I left school. And then I think that this, I'm just coming up in a little stitch, is called a back stitch because I'm going back on into the previous hole. So again, correct me if I'm wrong, tell me. get the lingo right, maybe I'd be better at it. Not really. Not really. But I am having trouble going into that previous hole. There it is there. So I think that that would be the thing. Now, let me do a bit more. Gosh, it's a long way to Hervey Bay, isn't it? I want to get up to Hervey Bay. I think this is why it's a patient person's game. And I guess if I'm in the caravan and it's a nice day and I'm sitting outside, then this might be rather pleasant to do. Probably. We'll see. We'll see. Also, I do go to a knitting group on when do I go? Tuesdays. I go to a knitting group. Really, it's a craft group. People do other things. And some people do embroidery. So maybe what I'll do is I'll take it along there so that I can get some done when I'm sitting and chatting to them. At the moment, I just take my knitting. I'm still doing my knitting. I've finished the poncho that I made for myself. I haven't shown you that yet. And also, I have half done, and I say half done because I'll tell you the story. I've half done the 2 cardigans that I'm making for him, for my husband. Not him, he does have a name. Anyway, I'm making 2 cardigans because this is the wool that I bought when I was in the UK and, had to buy a new suitcase to bring it home. That wool, yes. And so I was knitting and I ran out of wool. Couldn't believe it. And then I had a look at the pattern, and then I talked to my cousin, who's a long-time knitter, much beautiful knitting she does. And we realised, even though she also did it with me, that we read the pattern wrong and I needed another 4 balls of each. Now, unfortunately, that became a problem. Now, I'll tell you the story in a minute, but I just wanted to show you with Noosa. So we haven't taken the caravan to Noosa, but we have to Hervey Bay. So I'm not going to do the stitching on top of Noosa. I'm going to skip that and come up to the road after Noosa. I mean, we haven't driven through because it's actually on the coast, but we have come up the A1. This is a bit deceptive because you have to actually turn off to get to Noosa. But anyway, I guess they've done their best. So yes, yes, what was I saying? Oh yes, my husband's cardigans. I was 4 balls short on each of them. And one of them is blue, like a denim blue, and the other one is a forest sort of green, really pretty. However, the problem is they don't sell that type of wool here in Australia. So I went onto their website and I contacted them and I sent the dye lots over for the 2 lots of wool and came back and said, no, they don't have those dye lots anymore. So I don't want to use a different dye lot. So what I did was I chose 2 completely different wools. So for the denim blue one, I ended up getting navy. Now, luckily I hadn't started knitting that one. I'd only knitted the green one, and I'd done the sleeves and I'd done all the way up to the armholes of the body and the front and back. It's all done in one piece when I realised I didn't have enough wool. So I ordered, as I said, a navy for the blue denim one, and then the green one I ordered a lovely sort of tanny brown colour, which is in the same type of wool that I used for the other one. It's the same type. They're both Aran wools. Now, I have to go down here. And so what I ended up doing with the navy one, because I started knitting that when I was waiting for the wool, I had to order it online, wait for it to come from the UK. But I tell you, it was actually faster than a lot of our postage comes internally within Australia, and it came all the way from the UK. So there you go. So what I did was I started knitting the navy one, and then when the blue one, and then when the navy wool arrived, I took it and put stripes on the sleeves. In fact, I have one here. I'll show you. There you go. So that's the sleeve. So I've put 5 stripes. I haven't done the body of this one yet, but I will, and I'll put some stripes along the body as well. So I finished 2 sleeves. And then with the green one, I could unpick it, but I didn't want to. So what I'm going to try is, a lady at my craft group, my knitting group, suggested that I blend the two, so that I take the wool and both colours, and for the next few rows I do one stitch in one colour and one stitch in the next colour, and so I'll have this sort of transition part. So I'm going to try that and see if that works and if that gives me enough wool. So the top of the jumper will be brown, the top of the body and front and back of the jumper will be in the brown, and the bottom up to the armholes will be in the green, but there'll be a transition part in the middle. So I'm going to try that, and if that doesn't work, or if I run out of wool, I may have to unpick the sleeves back down to the same point where I started the brown on the body of the jumper, if you get what I mean. If you're a knitter, you probably do. And so that's what I thought that I would do. So I'm going to try that. And it's still cold here, so surprisingly, unseasonably cold. So I need to get these cardigans finished for him. I say jumper, but I actually mean cardigan. So that's what I plan to do with those. And I'm really happy with them. I do it at night after I've finished down here in my craft room, where I spend all of my day. If I'm not doing some quilting, then I'm doing some work on websites and things like that, or just on my computer looking at YouTube, which is also great fun. This keeps coming undone. There must be a secret to this. Maybe I just pulled it too hard. Any tips, please let me know. Help me out. Oh, that's not going to work. Maybe if I fold it over, because the eye of the needle is quite thick. Okay, I'll have to cut that again. Luckily, I'm only going to Noosa, isn't it? To Harvey Bay, I mean. At least these needles don't stick you and make you bleed. That's a good thing. They're so blunt. All right, where was I? At the back, that's right. Now I've got to Harvey Bay. I want to do that same satin stitch and hope, oh, it's pulled out again. Hopefully I'll do it better. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Please help. Send help. Yes. So I've got a lot to go. I mean, just for the trips we've done since we had our motorhome and caravan, which we picked up last year, there's been lots of trips. So that's the satin stitch that I'm going to try to do better than I did for the Brisbane one. Yes, I've been doing a lot of craft, and well, that's pretty much what I do all day when I'm not looking at YouTube, or I'm building a website at the moment, or building a website, or keeping a website updated. I'm doing it voluntarily. I'm not getting paid for it, which is fine because it keeps my brain active and alive. If I'm not doing that, I'm sewing or crafting in other ways, because I spend my whole day in my craft room. My husband still works, so first place after breakfast, I just come down to my craft room and I start crafting or doing something, or having a cup of tea or whatever. It's where I kind of live all day until he gets home from work. Even if he's working from home, which he does a couple of days a week, I still come down to my craft room and do my crafting, because, you know, I don't have any other obligations on my time. I have children, but I don't have grandchildren. I'm not likely to get any grandchildren, so that's not going to be on the cards for me, and therefore I have to find something to fill my retirement, which is always fun, and I don't mind. I love it. And I do go out. I go out a couple of days a week. I go out down to my knitting group, and I go out on Friday down to volunteer, and I also meet with a friend once a week and we speak Spanish to try and keep my Spanish up. That's something else I do. I do Duolingo. If you haven't heard of that, it's a language site and it allows you to build your skills. So I've been doing that. You can keep going. I've been doing that. I've almost done 1,000 days. I think I'm up to 950 something days that I've been doing it every day, and it's a lot of fun. So it doesn't take long, or it can take long, usually 10-15 minutes, and then I meet with my friend once a week for a couple of hours to talk Spanish, because there's not great opportunity in Australia to keep your Spanish language up. So there you go, I've made Hervey Bay. Now where else have we been? We have been further on than that, so I guess what I'd do then is I would undo my embroidery hoop. That was actually much easier. I've never used one of those, as I said, and I really liked that. It was much easier than what I was trying to do. Well, I thought it was easier. Probably painful for you all to watch, but never mind. So I've got up to Hervey Bay. We've been up to Bundaberg, Gladstone. We've been out here to Monto, Mundubbera, but we didn't go to Biloela. So there's a road through here that you can go. So I guess I'm going to have to make my own road, which I can do. I can just draw that in if there's some little, this was a very little side road. We probably shouldn't have gone on it with the motorhome, but we did. And it takes you through the mountains here, or through the hills, not mountains, and then down to Mundubbera, and then back down this way to Brisbane. So what do you think of that for a project? I'm really happy with how that turned out. And I will zoom in and give you a close-up of that so you can see. And I'm very pleased. I think this is going to be a lot of fun to do this. And even though it's a slow stitching, it was quite nice to do it, actually, I have to admit. So there, that's it for today. And thanks very much to everyone for joining me. And I will catch you all next time. This is Deborah. Cheers.